sham, alagata pepe. Na hii alituoya kwa alles no pia alagata pepe. Bola, that we person get that's a one sick for his kid. He get the squad say that sick people but that we sick for like how this country get them so. Should you go serve at some competition and that's about the shop never bother you. Say should go your own man that don't shop. How we sabi say that we see now bother for the hospital and they replier la for Ghana City. Comment se fait-il que plus vous dites plus bad, plus contre les social media so? Yes, no, na mangu but don't be.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the second edition of the Big Debate. My name is Terence, and I am the moderator. I would like to introduce you to Omer Bayen from the UK and Terence Limona in Texas, in the United States of America. Guys, I very much thank you for accepting to take part in this second edition of the Big Debate. And today we'll be discussing on the October 7th presidential elections in Cameroon and some of the issues that are taking place post-elections. And the debate will be each participant or candidate will speak for 5 minutes. The other candidate will also answer the same question for 5 minutes, and then there will be counter or reactions. We will be pleased to take some questions from the audience. Unfortunately, my co-moderator is not here today. We hope she will join because she has a very busy schedule. And so if everything is in order, Omer, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Terence.
Terence, can you hear Omer?
Yes, I can hear Omer clearly.
Okay, great. Okay, people, if you can hear everyone, then we are starting right away. So because Omer has experienced this debate before, we'll start the first question with Terence. It's going to be a very short question with a follow-up question. And so Terence, you will take the first question. So the first question is, and everything will be centered around the 7th October presidential elections. So the first question we have for you guys is, can you give us an overall assessment of the conduct and your overall impression of the October 7th presidential elections that took place in Cameroon?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this second edition of the Big Debate. Dr. Terence, thank you for sending me an invite. First of all, I appreciate all your efforts. And Omer, thank you too for wanting to debate on certain topics that are pertinent with our country. Well, this election that just took place on the 7th of this month is showing the changes that we're going to have in Cameroon in the next few years. If I want to grade this debate, I'm going to give it a 70% because I know Cameroonians are tired. We are all tired of the regime. We are all tired of the president that we have right now, so we want change. But the thing is, what kind of change do we want? Do we just want change because this president has been there for more than 30 years? Or do we want change because the people of Cameroon are suffering? But Elecam did a very good job this year in conducting a debate with transparency. We have people from the international bodies that came out to see what was going on. And to the best of my knowledge, there is less fraud than in the previous years. The only thing I didn't like about this election was the fact that most Africans or most Southern Cameroonians did not go out to vote. Your voice is in the ballot box. Your voice should count. Your voice should make a difference. But if you don't go out to vote, how do you make change? The change is not only going to come by you standing in the street corners with peace plans. The change should come in those boxes. If we start boycotting these debates and these elections and telling people not to vote, and then we expect change, how different are we from the ruling party? But in all, the election took place, and We're just gonna wait for the next few days for the results to come out. Thank you.
Thank you, Terence. So, Omer, I will ask you the same question, and I believe our audience are listening. They will have that overall impression of your response. So, you heard the question. So, you give us the overall assessment of the conduct and impression you got from the October 7th presidential elections in Cameroon.
Okay, thank you very much, Terence Agbo. Thanks once again for organizing this. And thank you very much, Terence Limona, for joining us today. And good evening to our audience. Without wasting any time, I'm not going to bore you to death or teach you how to suck eggs as far as the conduct of the elections are concerned. The elections were a sham, a total farce, a complete joke. So I totally disagree with my brother Terence Limona when he says, or when he praised Elekam for a job well done. It was the biggest joke I've ever experienced in my life. And to be honest, this is the first time, 2018 is the first time I'm actually experiencing elections in Cameroon firsthand. As in, it was brought to my bedroom. The elections came to my bedroom thanks to smartphones, thanks to social media. How can elections be considered a success when we saw what we saw on the 7th of October? People stuffing ballot boxes with bias tickets. We saw people in Italy, in the diaspora, for example, in Italy, one person had about 50 voters' cards in Italy. We saw representatives of the opposition not being allowed to witness the counting of the votes. We saw Kabwa Libi going online while the votes were actually being counted and complaining about this. Then my personal favorite, we saw the government parading 4 or 5 cretinous yellow-livered swats on national television and calling them observers from Transparency International. What happened 5 minutes later? Transparency International was like, hey, listen, guys, we know nothing about these guys. We have nothing to do with these people. We have no observers in Cameroon. So how can that be? It was a total failure. And only a government that has been rigging elections since 1992 will go through the pains of bringing people, questionable people. And Terence Limona, please do not insult us by saying that was a success. It was a sham, bro. It was a big time joke, a farce. The worst thing I've ever seen in my life. So as far as those elections were concerned, it was a joke. And I don't blame Maurice Kanto, for example, for wanting part of those elections to be cancelled. I totally agree with him. It was a joke, bro. That's the long and short of the story.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Omer, for that quick answer. Terence, do you have any response to this question?
Oh, yes, I do.
Omer's comment, sorry.
Omer, one thing you have to also understand, sir, is the fact that there is policies and procedures in place in everything we do. We have constitutions, right? There's an electoral code, right? So when you say the election was a sham, did you just say that because of the things you saw on social media? Because I also saw the international body saying that the elections went well. The new lady had a video saying that everything was good. We saw people go out to vote. So the fact that people in the southwest or northwest did not go out to vote doesn't mean that the election wasn't productive. Yes, it was, because people campaign, like Kabri campaign, Kanto campaign, Osin campaign. So these are parts of the election, and we have all those things in the electoral code. It is clearly stated in the electoral code that these things are going to be done, and 5% of the people that goes out to vote counts. If you want to make a change the constitution. If you want to call the election a sham, change the constitution. Show us that you are going to do something different. But from what I saw, if you want to go by social media, I saw people going out to vote. All those things you said about people putting stuff in boxes, I didn't see that. So it's your word against my word. I didn't see that. But I saw the international body saying that everything went well. I read news of people saying that. Or you want to say CRTV2 was a sham? It is not. Because we all want a change. But guess what? We are not going out to vote because of what is happening in the North and Southwest. But go out and make a difference. Go out and make that change by putting your voices in that box. Putting your voices in that box to make that change. But don't come and see the campaign is a sham because you saw a few videos of people putting that on social media. Anybody can put any video on social media and call it whatever they want. But you have policies and procedures in place that governs any election. We go by that code. So to me, I'm sorry, my brother Omer, everything went well in that election that happened on the 7th.
Okay, brother, let me respond to that. Is it okay for me to respond to that?
Yes, respond, yeah. You have 2 minutes to respond. Okay.
My brother Terence Limona, you just mentioned an observer, Nurit Granger. She's on Facebook. And I sent her a friend request the other day. She's actually one of those charlatans that was paraded on CRTV, calling herself an international observer for what's it called now? Transparency International. And when she was confronted, what did she say? Oh, we work for Agence Presse Cameroon or Presse Agence Cameroon or Cameroon Agence Presse, some story. And we were trained by Transparency International. Monte said this and yam done, yam no done. My brother, that woman is a fraud. So don't even forget about that woman. Don't mention that woman. She's a fraud. A massive fraud like the rest of them. Now, you talked of the electoral code. Do you know that the electoral code states that there cannot be more than 500 voters in any polling station? However, and this is not social media, that's the electoral code. The government is telling us that in Widikum, in Balikumbat, there were about 600 voters. Where did you get 600 voters from? When that same code you are using today and quoting to me tells us that you cannot have more than 500 voters in any polling station. Dr. Terence, did you know that? Did you know about that particular fine print that you cannot have more than 500?
Doctor, can you hear me?
For that, so I very much appreciate. Thank you very much for giving all that information. At least that's one of the reasons.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you, Terence. Yes.
Can you hear us?
Doctor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Omer, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. I hear you clearly. Send him a message and tell him to get out and come back in.
Yeah, that's what I plan to do. I just did that.
I couldn't hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Omer, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, Terence. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, and did you hear what I said about the electoral code?
I got you about the 500. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, let's talk about the Northwest. Let's talk about the Northwest and Southwest. I'm inclined to agree with you, because the last debate we had, I said people in the Northwest and Southwest shouldn't go out to vote because they were killing them. You cannot be having elections when people have died, people have been displaced. But to an extent, I agree with you that they should have voted for change. But for some reason, these people, or most of the people in the Northwest and Southwest, they've decided that they want independence. If I had to campaign, if I was able to campaign, I would have campaigned for them to go and vote, because I thought about it. If they had voted, Paul Biya for go. We know for they discuss it in my brother. Paul Biya for go. Therefore, vote for Kanto.
Okay, thank you very much, Omer and Terence, for that intro question. So now we go to the second question, which is the crux of the matter. I would like to thank our audience, Mabel, Grand Emmanuel, Grand Eno, Tres, Katos, Eli, thank you very much for joining. Achuki Sub, shout out to everyone who is there. We very much appreciate. So the second question is the fallout from the election. So 24 hours after the elections, Professor Maurice Kanto, the head of the coalition between Barrister Limona and his party, declared himself victorious in the election. So I have a series of questions here to ask. So, was that the right move, and did this undermine the Constitutional Council? So that is the first question. The second question is Kanto different from, is Dr. Maurice Kanto going to present anything different to the government from what Frundi presented in 1992? So Omer, you go first because Terence answered the first question.
Okay, brother, thank you very much. I'll go straight into it. Your question is less than 24 hours after the elections, Maurice Kanto declared victory.
Yeah. So was that the right move, or did he undermine the Constitutional Council as per
Yeah, before I answer that, let me just say, when he actually did that, when he declared himself as the winner, I had mixed feelings. On the one hand, I wanted Paul Biya to go. I still want him to go. On the other hand, I thought it was a premature move on behalf of, on the part of Maurice Kanto. I couldn't say, I was wrestling with this idea whether it was, I could say with absolute certainty that he won the elections. But then, I looked at the electoral code, and then I confirmed that he actually did the right thing. It is not uncommon to find, it's not uncommon to see situations, for example, in Africa in particular, where people declare themselves winners of elections before the final results are read. And what does the electoral code says? My brother Terence Limona quoted the electoral code, so I'm going to quote it too as well. The electoral code says results will be made public on the spot. What does that mean? It means if we vote in a Umojok, as soon as that polling station close, we will tell you results, lala, sweet plus, immediately on the spot. So what Kanto merely did was proclaiming what the poll stations were telling us already. And that is why I find it completely ridiculous that you have 15 days for a bunch of hand clappers to tell us what the polling stations already told us. We don't need 15 days for them to tell us who won. So Kanto followed the law. He merely was reiterating, reenacting what the electoral code said, that the results will be made public immediately. What does it mean, public immediately? It means we will find out the same day we voted, right? And that is why, based on the elections, on the results coming in, my guess is that Kanto declared himself winner based on the results that were coming in. We saw that in Senegal. Abdoulaye Wade declared himself the winner way before the elections were officially read, and Abdul Diouf conceded. We saw that in Ghana. Nana Addo did the same thing, and President John Dramani conceded. My personal favorite, we saw that in the Gambia. Yaya Jammeh conceded defeat way before the elections were called out. So it is my belief that some of these countries use similar electoral codes. So it was correct for Kanto to declare himself winner. I went and did my research. He wasn't wrong. He didn't break the law. Your second question is, you're asking me if he's different from Biya?
No, I'm asking that, is he going to present a different challenge to the government compared to what Frundi presented in 92? Because from all indications, from what he's saying, he said elections was marred by a lot of electoral fraud. And he's declared himself victorious. So
right.
In 92, Frundi declared himself victorious, but eventually he chickened out. So do you think Maurice Kanto is right, will present a challenge to the government?
I think he will. I think he will present a challenge to the government because 92 is not 2018. Remember, Biya has been there for 36 years, and people are tired. People are tired. And the momentum of 92 is not the same as 2018. I believe now there's been a lot of engagement. There's more engagement, especially on the part of the youth who are giving up all hope. Maurice Kanto, for some reason, if you remember, just a couple of weeks ago, I wasn't a fan of Maurice Kanto. I'm still not a fan of Maurice Kanto. I'm not a fan of the man because he keeps changing his position all the time, at least right up to 2011. But he's been able to present a clear, especially his economic program, and people are gravitating towards that program. So I strongly believe, and by going out there and declaring yourself the winner, he has Under no circumstance, I made a post the other day. Under no circumstances should he back down because people are going to act on what he said. People are tired. In the diaspora, in Cameroon, it's going to be a completely different ball game. And I think it's time. It's time. If Bia eventually is declared the winner and Kanto backs down, I don't know. I don't know. We are in for a terrible, terrible ride. Because if you say you are the winner before the elections are declared, then I'm sure he knows what he's counting on. But I think it's not going to be the same as in 92. It's going to be completely different because people, their mentality be completely different now.
Okay, thank you
especially
very much.
Especially when you see their videos on social media and all that. I mean, there are interesting times ahead.
Yeah, Omer, thank you very much. So, Terence, I'll ask you the same question. By now, I probably think I know what where you are going to drive to, but you still have to answer the question anyway. I'm not going to. Yeah. So 24 hours after the election, the same question I asked Omer, Professor Kanto declared himself victorious in the election. So was that the right move for him to do, or did he undermine the Constitutional Council of the country? And then secondly, the second part of the question, in 92, Frundi declared himself victorious, but he eventually chickened out. Do you think, based on what Kanto did last Monday, is he going to present a different challenge, a more stronger challenge compared to what the SDF presented in 92?
First of all, I'm going to say dump move by Kanto. And also, Omer, if you're going to quote the Constitution, please, you should be factual. You should tell me exactly where in the Constitution where it says that what you just said, but you didn't say anything about the part in the Constitution. If you can show me where it says in the Constitution that what he did is okay, then that's fine. But I will tell you, in the same Constitution, chapter 5, I'm going to read it directly from the Constitution, chapter 5, where it says proclamation of result. The Constitution Council shall adopt and proclaim the result of the presidential election within no more than 15 days of the close of the poll. So, Kanto coming out calling himself victorious is a very dumb move because he undermined the Constitution. He didn't wait until that 15 days for them to read the election to say that he is the victor or he is the new president of the country. So, to answer your question, it's a straight up yes. That is a very dumb move by Kanto to call himself the next president of the country when the election has not been finalized. We still have a couple of days to go for them to read the results of the election. So that move by Kanto, it's a very, very, very dumb move to come out and say, oh, I am the winner. I understand you call Yahya Jammeh and the rest. Yes, because those people, they have a different mindset. They are also tired. Cameroonians are tired. But are we going to act the same way those other people in the Gambians acted? Are we ready to stand out and fight the army? Do we have what it takes to fight the army if in case the current president wants to stay in power? Do we have the capacity to fight them? The army is behind the president, but Yahya Jammeh's case is different. The army was against him. That's why it was a little bit different than what is happening in Cameroon. Again, Kanto, that is the dumbest move I've ever seen a presidential election, a for the presidency of the country would do. That is so inappropriate because one, he can be held liable for going against the Constitution. And I'm trying to figure out why they didn't even just cancel him out of this election. Because now you're already going out of the Constitution saying that you are the president. When he clearly states here in chapter 5 on that proclamation of results that only the council can rig elections after 15 days. So does Kanto not have this document? Who's his campaign manager? Don't they read all this before they go out and start campaigning? Didn't he do his homework to understand that you cannot come out and declare yourself president after the election because it clearly states that it's 15 days? And so tell me, 92, you talked about 92 when Mijon ran, or if Kanto is going to pose a problem. Kanto cannot pose a problem for this government. He won't be able to do it. In 92, Mijon had the power. He had the backing from all Northwest and Southwest. Does Kanto have that? He didn't even go out to campaign in Northwest and Southwest. Who's going to back him up? Yes, we are tired. Yes, the youths are tired. And my friend Omer, you said you talked about the youths this year. How many youths went out and voted as in compared to 1992 when Nijon was running? We were young, but a lot of youths came out to vote. And we all knew that then the election was rigged because we all knew that Nijon won the popular vote. The population was out for Nijon, but your brother Kanto, he can't pose no problem for this government. And I think if it was things were reversed, then 92 is a better position for us than 2018 because Kanto cannot do anything. And I don't see Kanto being the president of Cameroon anytime soon. Because from what I just saw right now, he is not even a leader. He cannot even follow the simple constitution to understand that you got to wait 15 days after election to even declare yourself president. Is he part of the council or the Supreme Court that has to read the election?
Terence, as a follow-up, yeah. So one of our viewers just said, and I'm quoting.
I've got a rebuttal for that.
No, I'll ask you to. I'll ask you. You respond to that.
Okay. All right.
I want one of our viewers, Abu Free, and I'm reading because we want our viewers and audience to also participate, so we can make them feel important as well, because they are very important so long as we are here. And so she asked that. She says, Kanto didn't declare himself president. He barely said he won the elections, and that is not illegal. So what is your response to that? Just briefly, Terence.
According to the debate topic, we said he declared himself president, that he won the election.
Yeah.
You can say you won the election all you want. I can go out and say, you know what, I won the election, but I'm not declaring myself. I didn't say that I am the president or I am the next president. So he is right to say that, oh, I won the election. Everybody has a right. If you're going out to debate or to fight somebody, you are going out to become victorious, right? So you can say, even if you are being whooped, you can say, I won. But to go and declare that, oh, I am the winner, I am the next president, that's when he's violating the constitution. But for him to say, oh, I won the election, it's okay. So
Okay.
Ms. Abu Free, to answer your question, he has the right to say he won the election, but the fine-tuned term here is he declared or he won. That is the term we are using it. To come out and say I won the election is okay. He did not fight the constitution or anything, but for him to say that I declared I am the president, that I won the election, then that's the underlying factor. I hope I answered your question, Mr. Abu Free.
Okay, thank you, Terence. And Omer, can you respond to? You have 2 minutes to respond to Terence, and then you also have a counter response.
Okay. Yes. Just quickly, Terence, you're correct. When I quoted the electoral code, my mistake. I should have told you that I was referring to Article 113, right? So that's my mistake. Okay, now, you just mentioned Chapter 5 of the Constitution. All right. Since you are mentioning chapters, let me mention Article 5, Paragraph 1 of Decree number 2004-5 of April 2004. That lays down the status of members of the Constitutional Council, which you just quoted right now. Article 5 says members of the council must be independent and neutral parties. Independent, neutral parties. Those are the two key words. Article 6 says they must refrain from any act that jeopardizes their independence and integrity. Now, here are the facts. The president of the council is Clement Atangana, appointed by Paul Biya. His wife is a CPDM baroness. That is not being neutral. Number 2, Jean-Baptiste Baskuda and Amadou Tijani. Terence, remember Amadou Tijani?
I know Amadou Tijani. He used to be governor in the north, and then he was penitentiary administration, something like that.
Thank you. He's been a member of the CPDM Consensual Committee since 2011. He is a member of the council, and at the same time, a member of the CPDM Essential Committee. That same Article 5 of that same law I just quoted now prohibits members of the council from being part of any political party or trade union association, and they cannot support any candidate. Joseph Bipimum, short man, bald-headed, former Minister of Youth and Sports, who is now president of Cameroon's Olympic Committee. He's a member of the Central Committee of the CPDM and a member of the Constitutional Council. That is what the law you are saying Kanto violated is talking about. You have Jean Fuman Akame is the chairman of the board of directors of University of Yaoundé 1. He is a member of the Constitutional Council. Then the other day I heard Issa Chiroma saying Maurice Kanto, a renowned, arguably the best lawyer in Africa and probably the world, based on his CV alone. I don't know me the man. Based on his CV alone, he's arguably one of the best. You call the man an outlaw and you want to debate the law with that kind of a man. There is no law that is written in Cameroon without Maurice Kamto's input. You think he's violating a law because Atanganji said he violated the law? A school dropout, one can argue things with professors where they write laws for Cameroon. He did not violate any constitution. If anyone violated the constitution,
you have 30 seconds.
If anyone violated the constitution, there are those people, the CPDM, the government you seem to be backing. I'm going up Article 5 of Decree number 2004-2005 of 2004 to 5 of April 2004. The violation that don't violate Cameroon, no. Forget that council said not even get to exist at all. If you go off that article, I don't just give you right now.
Okay, can I rebuttal?
Yes, yeah, you can.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have 2 minutes.
Omer, I'm gonna take you back. I'm gonna go back a little bit so you can understand certain things. You were calling all these names of people that were appointed by the president. Yes. Guess what happened? In 1996, when we adopted the constitution, what did we say? It stated that it was a unitary republic with an executive, which is the president. And the president alone has the right to appoint his cabinet, his ministers, his deals, or whoever he wanted to. He has a right. They didn't say they have to go out and campaign for them to be voted upon by the country. No, it's a single appointment. So if you are calling all these people and saying that, oh, they violated Article 5 because they are part of CPDM, it is stated in the constitution how those people are being selected. So the problem here that I understand with you is the fact that we all need change. I might be sitting here standing supporting CPDM, but I'm not supporting the president. There are certain things of the president I don't abide and I don't like. It doesn't mean that I'm going to change my party. It's the same thing like what happens here. You have a lot of Republicans who don't like what Donald Trump is doing. They don't like the person, but it doesn't mean that they don't like the party. So we can make those changes. We can start today by making those changes. This constitution, yes, I can tell you, is flawed. There's a lot of issues in the constitution, and my learned colleague, Mr. Kanto, who is a lawyer, did not say anything during his campaign that the first thing he's going to do is work on this constitution to make things happen. He didn't. I didn't hear him one time in the campaign say, you know what, we're going to start from the top to the bottom, we start changing from the government. So how are you going to see that? And that's why I think you can come out and say, you know what, he violated all the rules and regulations of that electoral code. Because yes, people in Cameroon, they do whatever they want to do because it starts from the top, not from the bottom, but from the top. And Kanto did not even make any suggestion during his campaign. He didn't say how he's going to change or what he's going to do to bring change.
Yeah, Terence, thank you very, very much. I'm going to play a short audio, and I'll ask you guys a follow-up question. I will try to see if I can share my screen with you guys so that you can see, because it's actually a video. So let me try. I'll play it, then I'll ask you guys if you've heard the video before or the audio before.
Right, okay.
Et à la limite, je dirais que c'est une provocation. En application de l'article 137 du Code électoral, il est clairement stipulé que seul le Conseil constitutionnel est habilité à proclamer les résultats d'une élection présidentielle dans un délai de 15 jours. Mais je dis qu'il faut respecter les lois de la République. Il prétend qu'il défendra cette prétendue victoire par tous les moyens. Il n'aura même pas les moyens d'aller jusqu'au bout parce que nous ne lui donnerons même pas les moyens de commencer. Il faudrait que le message soit clair. Parce que pour aller jusqu'au bout, il faut commencer quelque part. Mais dès lors qu'il n'aura même pas les moyens de commencer, je ne vois pas comment il ira jusqu'au bout. Et je dis qu'en matière, s'il fallait régler le problème de Maurice Kanto, c'est le sous-préfet de son arrondissement qui va d'abord gérer sa situation.
Okay. So I will stop I'm sure some of you may have heard that audio, or it was a video interview, an interview by one of the TV stations in Cameroon to the Minister of Territorial Administration in Cameroon, Mr. Atanga Anji. So on Saturday, a day before the election, the Minister of Territorial Administration was on record intimidating the Cameroonians. After Professor Maurice Kamto declared himself victorious in the elections, apart from this response, which came like a few days later, we have a lot of counter responses and counter accusations. So the government actually called the Kamto's party, or those who declared election, as outlaw. And I will give you a small background about why I'm sticking to the point outlaw and why it is very important in this discussion. In the 1950s, people, those who were fighting nationalism, mostly the UPCs, were basically described as outlaws. And watching the Cameroon media recently, there are a lot of people, especially in the pro-CPDM or the pro-government media, basically, instead of antagonizing the MRC, they are going at the Bamilekis. So that is very important. In a country where two provinces or two regions in the south, the English-speaking province, are at war, the north, the far north province, is practically under the control of Boko Haram, and part of the East province is under attack by the Central African rebels. Would you guys say this is the right approach of the government to call a political party an outlaw and practically putting it in terms with what they described in the 1950s as a terrorist organization? I mean, the UPC. So Terence, you start with that. You, Omer, answer the previous question first.
So I guess this is the audio that Omer was talking about, because it's the first time I'm listening to the audio. I didn't even know there was an audio with Atanganji talking about.
Yeah, he had like three, like at least 2 videos. That this is the most recent one, and I think this one was yesterday.
The thing is, we have to be really careful when we put certain things out there. I think calling Kanto's party or calling the opposition party an outlaw is a little bit out of place. You know, in an election, you have the right to go out and say, you know what, yes, I want to, because we want to, you are going out to win this position, whichever position you're going for, you know. And yes, CPDM or Atanganji as an individual has the right to come out, or as a minister has the right to come out and say what he wants to say. But calling that an outlaw, I would not go that far. I will not go that far to call them, because they are within their constitutional right to stand out and say, you know what, yes, I'm going for this position. I want to become the president of this country. He met all the criteria. That's why he was approved, you know, and he has the right to do whatever he wanted to do as long as he followed the laws or policies and procedures that govern that electoral code. You know, but for Atanganji to come out and call them outlaw and consider them to be barbarians or whatever he said, I will not really, I will not agree to that. I will not. It is unfair for him to come out and say that.
Okay, thank you very much.
I wouldn't, if I was in his position as the minister, I will not, because I know the situation. Especially in a country with fighting. In the country that we have right now, I just think these guys are all power hungry.
Okay, Omer, what do you have to say with respect to that question? A question fighting war on multiple fronts and reacting the way it's reacting. I mean, like even like yesterday, I mean, not the day before yesterday, we saw the invasion of personal houses by the military when people were trying to give press conferences, which is of course, which is I think is embedded in the Cameroon constitution.
Let me just say something quickly based on that video on the audio we just listened to right now, where a school dropout is telling us that article whatever he quoted there gives the Constitutional Council is the only competent authority to declare elections. That's fine. But what they need to understand that every single law on earth has exceptions. Kanto don't do law all his life. Me say for year, I did do law. I don't do law for a very long time. And exception to that particular law that man quoted, you find that in the polling stations. And I'll explain what I mean by you find that in the polling stations. By asking people, by saying the polling stations should declare elections immediately on the spot, it already defeats that article, because then we do not need the Constitutional Council to tell us that what we already know from the polling stations. We do not need them. We saw the results coming in. That is already an exception to that particular article, to that particular law. That is what people need to understand. Now, when this war started in the north with Boko Haram, every single Cameroonian, including Anglophones, were making posts on Facebook, on social media, supporting the boys, right? The soldiers up north. In 2016, those same soldiers came and started killing them. The people turned against them. Now, this country, people in this country or in that country, they are playing in shark-infested waters. Now they are targeting Bamilekis, right? Cameroon is a disaster waiting to happen. And we already know, we have people like Joseph Owona who said if a Betty man is not president, then better we'll divide the country. Betty, they go form their own country. So what they are doing to Bamilekis right now doesn't surprise me one bit. Tribalism, right, runs deep in the fabrics of that country. But it is very dangerous to have that kind of a situation when you are fighting Anglophones, you are fighting Boko Haram, you are fighting people in rebels from Central Africa. It's very, you cannot win. No country can win. Even America, where my brother lives, had to pull out from Afghanistan in 2001 and focus on Iraq in 2003 because you cannot fight two wars at the same time. It's impossible. You cannot fight wars on numerous fronts. So they will lose if they carry on. By the time they antagonize Bamilekis as well, okay, just wait and see what happens to Cameroon then. Bamileke people are the economic power of that country. By the time they close all their business and go to Nigeria, and I will suffer for that country. Balok people.
Okay, I will go to the next question now because we are running out of time. So the last question is, okay, for the country is in a state of war, and like Omer mentioned in his last comment that fighting a war on multiple fronts, the South and Northwest province, there is a war, Boko Haram in the north and in the East province by the rebels in South Africa. So what is going to be the major challenge, and what should be the new president of Cameroon? What possible solutions can you suggest to the future president of Cameroon to integrate and resolve some of the issues which are happening now in the country? The country is in total economic disaster. There is massive corruption, as well as a country fighting war on multiple fronts. So what would be your suggestions or some of the solutions you would propose for anyone, especially in terms of uniting the country? At least we know that for the Boko Haram, they're fighting war in the north with what is thought to be called foreigners, and in the east, it's also thought to be rebels from the Central African Republic. How true that is, we really don't know. But at least in the southwest and northwest, it's their own compatriots. So what solutions can you propose to the future president of the country?
Am I going first?
Yeah, Omer, you go first. Sorry, Terence did answer it.
Okay, what I'm going to say now, as far as our brothers in the northwest and southwest are concerned, that was going to be like my closing point because I was going to speak to them. Ambazonians or Anglophones need to understand that that country does not belong to them. It belongs to each and every one of us. And they have to understand that we can have a difference in how to go about fixing this problem. Independence is not going to come now. It will not come anytime soon. We need to try and address, come up with solutions that are foreseeable. Kanto needs to speak to these people. Anglophones or Ambazonians need to give that man, if eventually he becomes a president, they need to give him a chance, the opportunity to fix this problem. They need to listen to him. I don't know what the solution is going to be. But personally, if you ask me, if I was to negotiate on behalf of Anglophones, I'll be like, okay, the only way for us to feel less marginalized is to give us back our federation. We have our own politics. We have our own laws. A federation, people need to understand, a federation tends to kill down any secessionist tendencies because nobody wants to go out there and kill his own brother. No Banson man who want to go kill some Bali man. Or no Bali Gamman who want to go kill some Bali Kumbad man.
Unless that Bali Nyonga and Bali Kumbad is for fight.
That one in a special case. Or unless you are from Com, they want to kill man for children. That one in a special case, the extreme cases. Yeah. But that is, I'll propose a federation because that's what is likely going to solve this problem. If you go for independence, you are dragging this thing. You need support. We do not have that support right now. And me personally, I don't mandate anybody to even speak for me to go out there and ask for independence for a country where it concerns me too. I don't mandate anybody to do that. So we need to take that into consideration. As for fighting Boko Haram,
or generally, not necessarily like, let me maybe modify the question a bit, not necessarily Boko Haram to help in unifying the country, both economically in terms of corruption, like what solutions could you guys propose to the future new president of Cameroon? It could be anyone. I mean, we are not calling, I'm not saying A or B is going to win election, but whoever is the president will assume it's a new term and it's a new president. So what possible solutions, both economically, especially, we see the youth massive unemployment. Our highest employer in the country has become the military. The highest employment agency in the country has become the military. Just 2 days ago, I mean, yesterday I learned that 2,600, the Ministry of Defense is hiring 2,600 people. 600 of them for the presidential guard and 2,000 for the for BiG. Just in early this year, 6,500 police officers were hired. So our country has practically become a military country. So what propositions can you give or suggestions could you give to whoever the president is?
I have no solutions. I have no solutions or no suggestions for BiG. Yes, I have no suggestions for that man because for 36 years, he hasn't done anything. Another 7 will just drag the country into more misery. He cannot do anything in 7 years. The only solutions I have will be for a new president. And in this case, we're talking about Kanto. And I listened to Kanto's video the other day where he talked about, for example, just fixing roads in Cameroon, for example. And I was like, okay, I never thought about this. This man is a very brilliant man. You have people in Cameroon, businessmen in Cameroon, who are ready to undertake contracts to fix the roads. Then they put toll gates and recoup their money. That is done in Côte d'Ivoire. But go for Abidjan, you will see. That is what private individuals do. And it's doable. You go to China and borrow billions to come and do work that people in the country, private individuals can do. And I thought that was a brilliant, brilliant idea that Kanto was putting forward. Okay. As for corruption, I'm a little bit extreme as far as corruption is concerned. I'm really extreme on that because my take is we go back to the days, to the medieval days where you are caught embezzling public funds. You get shot and killed easily. Ego, or I mean, because now we have Operation EPV that comes out only when the president feels like, when he has a grievance against you, when you're threatening his position, that's when he comes out and starts talking about EPV, yam done, yam not done. We will not be interested in all that. We actually want a system which is clear. Any embezzlement, any corruption We go back to the days of summary executions. We go back to the days of public prosecutions, like what Sankara was doing in Burkina Faso, where if you're accused of corruption, you go public, you have a public trial, and the whole country is watching you. Have you seen that video? Have you seen that video, Terence, Limona?
No.
So I believe if we do stuff like that, we'll have less corruption in the country. I mean, there's corruption everywhere, but we'll have less blatant corruption that we have now.
Okay, Terence, what's your take on that? What propositions can you, what can possible solutions you can propose to the future government? So both economically and the war, everything.
Okay, this is a little bit kind of tricky because I haven't seen anybody in the whole system that can make that change.
So ideally, assume you have an ideal individual. I mean, people are.
I'm coming. I'm coming. Okay. I'm going to explain everything to you. I'm going to explain everything to you. What I'm just saying is, looking at the presidential candidate and the current president, he's been there for 36 years. No change has happened. I don't think at this point where he's holding that threat just to survive, he's going to want to even make a change. So I'm going to put him out of the question. Cameroon has been a peaceful country in a long time. Like Omer said, it's a ticking time bomb. Our economy is horrible. People in the country live on less than $1 a day. How can you sustain a family? The first thing you have to understand is to curb out corruption, there must be sustainability. People are able to sustain themselves and don't depend on their brothers and sisters to eat bread and sardine like this the CPDM was doing. I just had to put that on the side, the bread and sardine. If you cannot pay your child's school fees every year, how can you curb up corruption? It is not by killing people. It's not by killing people who steal. Make the people of the country self-sufficient. By doing that, what do? You increase education, you increase farming, agriculture, you increase jobs. How do you increase jobs? The current president goes to China and get money from China to do roads, and they import Chinese people to come and do the work and then turn around and pay them back. How is that economical? How is that helping the country when you have people in the country, like Omer said, that can do that same job?
It's
so
your man.
The money, but guess what? You keep taking the money, you borrow money from China and then sending it back to China. So my question is, I was listening to Kanto. Kanto did not say anything how he's going to use China to our favor. China is becoming the world power right now. How is he going to use China in our favor? Is he going to do the same thing like what the president is doing right now? Look at our buildings. The last time I went to Cameroon was in 2012. Boy, Yaoundé is the same. The infrastructure is horrible. It's like we don't do maintenance in that country. You just build and leave it. The developed world is growing up because of what? We maintain. You get in an elevator and you're stuck on the 10th floor. You can't do anything. You have a 20-story building and you're using stairs because we do not maintain our infrastructure. You said Kanto was talking about building roads. Yes, it's a good idea. How do you intend on doing that? Kanto did not go seek out these rich people to help him campaign. The biggest mistake Kanto ever did in this election was the fact that he did not go campaign in the Northwest or the Southwest. He could have used it in his advantage. Go tell these people that I am here for you. I'm here to make change so that you can come out and vote. Now, there is a divide. The people of Southern Cameroon, they want independence. What did Kanto say? Did he even make mention of giving them the independence? Did he even tell them how he was going to give them independence? I'm reading what Kanto said.
In his last speech, in the day he
said, to my brothers and sisters in the Northwest and Southwest, I am coming for you. The sun will rise again. I am committed to rebuilding burn down villages and compensate victims of the Anglophone crisis. That's not telling them you're going to separate the country.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. He has never said he's going to give anyone independence. But
he didn't say that.
Yeah.
But he said he's going to compensate them. You compensated me for what? I want something that is going to be reliable. You just Is what are you telling me? I have a broken house and you patch it. You're not fixing it. The people of Southern Cameroon want fix. They've burned down schools. So we're gonna have to do what? Rebuild those things. I didn't see Osing say anything about that. I didn't see Cabrera say anything about that. So my fear is all these presidential candidates that we have, if any of the opposition candidate becomes the president, are they going to be different from what we have right now? Because I didn't get that in their campaign. I didn't get the change. Did they say they were going to help in the GDP of the country? The biggest thing that Kanto could have used was China, Southern Cameroon. He didn't. So he didn't get my vote. And I'm sorry to say I'm left what? The same person that is still president here today. And guess what?
Okay.
When is that change going to come?
Yeah, Terence, do you still have like 10 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, so we take a brief break and I'll ask you one more question, if that is okay with you guys. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Cameroon must change.
Okay, welcome back, and thank you very much for all your attention. That was Late Lapiro de Banga playing in the background. I consider him as one of the nationalists and a national hero. So I'm going to ask a question from one of the audience. So they ask that, and this one is some sort of, it would depend on anyone, it's a prediction. So their question is, who do you guys predict will win the election? And assuming that, and this is a hypothetical question, that the Constitutional Council declares in favor of the incumbent president, what do you guys think? Omer, I will start with you. Will be the reaction of the Cameroon populace? So this question came from Krista.
Krista Forbison?
That's correct.
Okay. Terence, Limona, can you hear me, bro?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, right. Because your video froze for a minute there, so. First of all, I think I have this strong conviction, and I'll take this belief to the grave, that the reason why these people are insisting on letting the Constitutional Council go for tea and biscuits, then come back after 15 days and tell us who won, is because they're trying to doctor the results in favor of Biya. That is how he's maintained himself in power since 1992. My brother, that one I would thief the elections. Biya, I have this strong belief that Biya cannot win any free and fair elections, even for government school pinning. That man will win class prefect elections. So that's my position, and I will die with that position. He cannot win. But now, the fact is, he runs the Constitutional Council, so he might win. They will declare him the winner in a couple of days. If he wins, what happens? That would just go to telling you what I said in the last debate, that Biya cannot be defeated through the ballot box. The only way of getting rid of Biya is by popular revolt. And it is a fact, say with Francophones being the majority, those people are just white, lazy, white collar, I don't know. They are lazy. They are happy with the bread and sardine. If Anglophones were majority for Cameroon, Biya for all run since. So I believe until I see those people go out on the streets and fight for what is rightfully theirs, then be ready to have Biya there for the next 7 years. So right now you're asking me a question I cannot predict. I don't know. Now TB Joshua they predict. I cannot predict. So, but what I know is Francophones do not have the umph, like we say in English, to kick that man out if he is declared the winner. They cannot. If they do it, I'll be the first to apologize. If they take to the streets like in Burkina Faso, I'll be the first to apologize to them. But if they declare Biya the winner, forget. We'll have him for the next 7 years.
Okay, Terence, your take.
Yeah. It's a sad situation because we know what's at stake. We know I'm not a lawyer. Omer, you're a lawyer. We have rules, we have principles that govern everything that we do, and we have to go by that. It's kind of sad that we all see the loopholes in the Constitution. We all see all the errors in the Constitution. But again, we just have to go by what it says. I cannot sit here and tell you that, oh, Kanto is the winner, or I predict Kanto, or I predict President Paul be the winner. I don't know. The reason why I don't know is because our electoral system is garbage. Our electoral system is not open. Maybe it's not open because of our economic situation. We are poor. We don't have the money to make an election system which is free and fair for everyone to see, like they do over here. When the votes come in, they are counting. You're seeing on CNN, you see on NBC, where you see the percentages of different states and different counties, how that happens. But this election is the one that.
But we saw some of those trends coming in, and it's based on
it didn't come in everywhere. Did you go to Ngokitungia to tell me how many people voted in Ngokitungia?
Well, we had 600 people voted in Batibo. To the best of my knowledge, I know there are
6,000 people in
Batibo as we speak.
6,000 people in Batibo register to vote. So you see where the problem is, Omer. You see where I'm coming from. Because the whole thing is rigged. We just have to wait for the council to tell us who the president is. And yes, I'm going to tell you something. I think the Cameroonian people are tired. Cameroonians are ready. Cameroonians want to get rid of what is happening right now. So if I'm not sure about revolting, because again, I am not for killing. I'm not for people dying because of a cause. I think dialogue is a big thing for me. That is my own standpoint. I don't want to see people being killed. I understand that in a revolution, people are going to die. But if there's another route that we can take to stop people from dying because they're fighting for a just cause, we can do that. Again, I'll go back to the fact that our opposition leaders did a very poor job in campaigning. And sometimes, because of what they have in the electoral code or in the constitution that says you have only about 2 weeks or 1 month to go out and campaign, you don't give enough time to sit and talk to other people like other countries do. So my advice to the next person who's ever going to be the president, the first thing is to work on this damn constitution and this damn electoral code. That's what they have to do. Start from National Assembly. Like start from the top, fixing it. But if you don't, you're gonna be like the same thing's gonna happen like what we have right now. But I'm not sure I know who's gonna win the election. I'm gonna let the council decide on that.
Okay, yeah. So typically, like Atanganji says, we should vote for the council. Okay, so
one second. Who asked that question?
No,
Crystal.
Crystal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wanted to send it's just a side note. I wanted to send a condolence message to all those who went to Baptist and Seka that was under body lossing. the former principal from Seka passed away. So Mr. Bodilosin passed away.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to send condolences to Krista, but I'm not sure if Bodilosin was his a principal when she was in Baptist, but just for all our Sekers who are out there listening, accept our condolences.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Sika boys a DL. Okay, so we have got to the end of today's debate. Most of the hot discussions were at the beginning of the debate, and what we've decided in this platform is that at least in every single conversation we have, we should come up with solutions. The reason I'm mentioning this is because I see people asking whether this is a debate or a discussion. We have been lambasted a lot by those in Cameroon that the people in bush, as they commonly say, in the diaspora, are always criticizing. So sometimes we try as much as possible, or at least on this platform, we spend some minutes to propose solutions that may be or may not be used, but at least we know that we have them out there. So I just wanted to mention that. So we would also like to thank our audience, but before we do that, I will ask for a last word from you guys. So Terence, can you have anything to say to the audience?
I want to say something in relation to our closing remarks. Doctor, thank you, and Omer, thank you for sending me this request to come and do a debate with you. But my closing remark is going to be for the people, us Cameroonians. People in the diaspora don't know anything that is happening in Cameroon. They will sit and talk and watch videos and listen to voicemails, but they are not on ground zero. They are not there. They sit there and make decisions on people dying in Cameroon. I don't want to go into that because my problem is, how do we fix this country? How do we make Cameroon better? That you and I are able to go home and invest without them putting so much tariffs on us. Are able to send containers back home without the douanier person charging you an extra 3 million to put in his pocket for corruption, like my brother Omer said. How do we change that? How do we change the fact that you have a mindset of people that they will tell them from the diaspora to destroy their own roads because they want to stop the army from passing, and they do that? How do you change that culture of individuals always listening from somebody instead of taking upon themselves to make themselves better? I cannot sit and wait for the government to help me if I cannot start helping myself. How do we improve on agriculture? How do we improve on infrastructure? I will quote an example of a person in Cameroon that is making a difference in her own little way. You might think it's that small, but it is very important. She doesn't have a government job. And I'm sure you guys know Gasanina. I'm putting her there because she took upon herself to become an entrepreneur to feed herself. She did not wait for the government to give her a job. And guess what? Now she's employing people to work for her. She's paying somebody's salary. To me, that is the mindset that every young Cameroonian needs to have to start making those changes within, not waiting for Atanganji to come and tell us what to do, or for Cabaret to tell us what to do, or for Osim to tell us what to do, or for Pobia to tell us what to do. No, we got to start changing our mindset to change the country and stop waiting for diaspora to do everything for us. Diaspora does not know everything. You are back at home, you know those things. And now for the government of Cameroon.
Thank you very much, Terence. So, Omer, Omer, can you hear us?
Was that for me?
Yes.
Yes.
Who is distracting you?
Okay. No, it's fine. Terence, Limona kind of read my mind a little bit, because the closing remark I have, I'm going to address Ambazonians. I'm not going to tell you to stop fighting. If you want to keep fighting, that's on you. I will not be there fighting with you. If you decide to keep fighting, the first thing you need to do, the first and most imperative thing you need to do, is to get rid of your leadership. Get rid of the IG. Sako, I know the call names, I know they for back and forth. Get rid of people like Sako. Get rid of people like Akwanga. Get rid of people like Ayabacho. Pick your own leaders on the ground. These people in the diaspora, they don't like you. They do not have your interests at heart. Because if they did, you know, they take money, they chop them, boy, they don't get paracetamol or drink them. But the weakest stand call yourself leader of this, leader of that. Since when sheep they start lead lion? Since when goats they start lead wolves? So the real wolves are back in Cameroon. The real lions are back in Cameroon. If you decide to keep fighting in Cameroon, then that one I am banging oil. But get rid of your leadership because they are destroying your struggle. Personally, I want a situation. I totally agree with Terence, Limona. I want a situation where we can fix Cameroon. I'm one of those who started criticizing BI a long time ago, way before this struggle started. I've seen war. I've been there. I've done it. And the only person where they support war, na person you never ever fight them. Take it from me. If you actually support war, then you've never fought it. These guys in Cameroon now are fighting wars because they have no other option. They don't have any jobs. Man, when you get work, you leave your work, go fight war. So for that, I totally and completely blame the government, because if you are giving these kids jobs, they'll not be out there fighting.
And of course, the government is hiring more. I think, like I mentioned earlier in the debate, they are hiring 2,600. 600 will be for the presidential guard, and 2,000 will be for BiG. And we know what BiG does.
Yeah, the only reason why they're hiring them at the moment is because there's a war going on.
Exactly.
In peace times, they didn't hire people for peace times. They hire now because they want to send them for southern Cameroon now, or for northwest and south, they go keep people now. But how long does Ambazonia think they can sustain a war when all their leaders are doing is to raise money and eat it? Then they fight every day for audio and videos. How long do you think you're going to sustain a war with Bia, who has all the resources? You don't have any support. Even Nigeria is not supporting you. Nobody is ready, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, to see the creation of another country in that area. So I don't know, where do you think we are going with this? You keep making videos and every single day making videos asking for money. Oh, the UN has done this, the UN has said that. Nobody's coming to help you. You're on your own.
Okay. Thank you very, very much, gentlemen. And thank you so much, our audience and all our viewers, for spending your 2 hours this afternoon with us. We promise you will be here more often, and we are officially inviting anyone who is interested in debating. This is our 2nd edition, and if you have a topic as well you want to be discussed or debated, please do well to inbox or send it to us. You can post it on the BiG Debate Facebook page, which is BiG Debate. It's B, a small I, and a capital G. Debate, because there are several debates up here. You can inbox or send us messages, and thank you so much for.
Let me not cut you short, Terence. But just I'm using this platform now to officially invite. You guys can decide between these 2 people, Ndoko Sankara and Tefambo. You two, we are tired of you. We are tired of you hiding behind your keyboards. Step up. Let's spar for a bit. You know, boxing. Let's spar.
Okay. Yeah, thank you guys, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Yes, Limona, thank you very much, bro. Thanks a lot. Respect, man.
Thank you guys so much. Alrighty.